Hi everybody, I'm going to be filming my video today from this kind of awkward angle because I am feeding my son right now. He's a little bit unhappy today, well, a lot of it unhappy today. So I'm just going to have to hold him during this whole video if I want to film anything. The topic of today's video is a little bit different. I don't have a phone. No, it doesn't mean I don't have a smartphone and I have a dumb phone. I don't have a phone. In today's culture, especially amongst millennials and younger people that grew up and were born into a technological world, not having a phone or not having a smartphone exactly can change the way you function in your daily life, in social interactions, and basically everything you do. This concept bothered me because it felt really dependent on technology, and I have lived like this for years. In the past few years, I've kind of been going off technology or weaning off of it. I grew up in a house with tons of televisions everywhere, and cell phones weren't really a thing, but it became a lot. And as I got older, I would watch less on TV, try to be on the computer less, which is challenging when you work online. The one thing I felt I couldn't cut out was my phone use, or my iPhone use. So why no phone at all? Well, I have a new baby, and I guess fairly new, 7 months, and I'm trying to set an example. I know it's early and these aren't things we have to worry about, but I feel like as he's growing up in a world, he's going to see everyone on their phones all the time. If I can be the only person that's not on a phone around him, then I can set an example and let him know there's another way to live life, and there's sometimes what I would argue a better way to live life than just being on your phone all of the time and communicating through avatars and digital selves. I was feeling inclined to let go of my phone, I'd say a year or so ago, or over a year ago, but there wasn't a good situation, and then it just kind of happened, but I'll get to that later. A lot of people wonder, how do I do things that seem like they require a phone? Things like GPS and social media. A lot of these apps like Instagram work only on the phone for posting photos and videos. And a lot of my work is on these apps as I work as a ghostwriter for content. I kind of moved away from taking those type of clients, knowing that I was going to be doing this experiment soon. And the GPS aspect was one that was my main concern. I look up on my map, I do still use my computer, and so I look up on my MacBook, using the map, where I'm going ahead of time. I have to plan it out. I can't just find a place when I'm out somewhere. Find out where I'm going, handwrite the directions down on a piece of paper, and then just do that. And worst case scenario, I ask someone. So far, my experience in that is people have been very helpful. I kind of assumed that they wouldn't know where anything else was, and they would probably just look it up on their phone, on their GPS, but people have actually been pretty knowledgeable, and it definitely increases your interactions with people around you. I used to do a lot of texting when I had my phone, but now instead of texting or calling, I'm using email. I'm using email. I thought I would hate this, but I actually love it. People tend to write more long-form notes, and you can reply within a couple days. I feel like it's pretty comfortable too. I mean, with texting, people do that too now, is they wait a couple days to respond to your message, and then a conversation takes weeks to months to occur. So, especially when they're longer form, because I know my friends and I sometimes want to say things to each other, but when you don't have the time to respond right away and you're writing long messages, it can just get very long-winded over a period of time. So I feel like email is in a way more succinct. With calling, I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I think that if I continue this, I'm going to try to look into Google Hangouts or Skype or something like that, because as of now I'm just kind of planning phone calls via email to come to my husband's cell phone, which I don't know if that's cheating or whatever, but it is all I have as far as what I'm able to do right now, and I don't have a home phone. One thing I did enjoy doing on my phone that I now do anyway, just on the computer, was listening to podcasts or YouTube videos that are podcasts in form. So I would just put them on my phone on YouTube and then put in my earbuds and listen wherever I was around the house. It was good for when the baby was sleeping and I was just doing things. With the podcast, I just listen on my computer in the same way. Some of the pros to not having a phone anymore are that I have more focus for work when I am doing a task. I feel like previously my phone was a distraction from hunkering down and doing work no matter what I needed to do. I also feel like I had more presence with my son, with my husband, with my friends and people around me, and just with myself and the moment that it is occurring. Like, it's a very strange situation where when you have a phone, I feel like there's the potential to always be somewhere else. And when you don't have that anymore, you just are where you are. And you can enjoy things more. You don't feel like you should be doing something else as much. You just kind of do what you are doing and it feels good. I definitely have less anxiety, a feeling of being free. There's just not an electronic rope tethering you to things you have to do or people you should be in contact with at the moment. And that constant anxiety from you having to check your phone all the time and notifications going off, which through some of my reading I've actually learned is it's called a dopaminergic response, and the dopamine is released, so you get kind of excited and also anxious when you see those notifications going off. It feels really good to not have that. I also feel that it's a pro to not having a phone by letting my son see what a screen-free life looks like. Kids nowadays bombarded by screens everywhere. Every restaurant, schools have iPads, televisions, everything. Libraries, it's everywhere. Screens are the norm, and that's what is the constant rather than a presence or connection with people. So I feel like if I was to continue this, that would be a pro in this situation. Definitely think that the compulsion to just constantly search things that are on your mind goes away, and that feels good too. I think that contributes to the lessened anxiety. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, where like you think of something or you're having a conversation with people and they all feel the need to just immediately Google search the most recent article or that random thought they had, where people feel like they need to just immediately know what the top 5 best barbecue joints are where they live or something crazy. Let me fact check you on that random thing you said. Things like that. The weird compulsion that we all feel because we have master computers in our pockets. And if I really need to look something up now, I will write it down and look it up later, or I'll remember it if it's really that important. Most of the times it's not. Most of the time I do not remember what I felt the need to look up immediately. And once I get away from that space of needing to look everything up, it feels kind of good. Once again, it's one of those you can just live in the moment with less anxiety and it feels great. I also don't feel like I need to buy as many things. I feel like when you have your phone on you and you're using social media and the internet more, you definitely see more advertisements and you feel, once again, compulsed to purchase things and I need this, I'll get on Amazon and I'll get this, and you're preparing, you're ready for things, but really a lot of times you don't need any of that stuff, and if you really need it you'll remember, or you'll just go get it, or I'll make it a point to get it off my computer, whatever website it is, whatever I need to do, I make that like a task or an item of the day that I need to do when I am on my computer. Lastly on the pro list is just the need to compulsively check. Like I've been saying, that feeling and being free from that is so nice. I can't even describe it. As far as the cons go, which there are some, I'm not going to act like there aren't. Socially, it has not been good. It's very difficult for people. My family lives far away, and so for people to reach out to me or friends to try to just send me some photos, I don't get them, and I have to notify everyone via email, hey, this is what's going on. And I think a lot of people don't even check their email, or they need to be notified by a text message to check their email. So there's definitely a lag. And when I'm meeting up with friends for drinks, like we'll say we're meeting at this place at this time, and for an example, the place that we said we were gonna meet didn't open till a little later. I didn't want to go somewhere else because I can't notify them that we're going somewhere else. So when I say I'm going to be somewhere, I have to be at that place at that time. And they ended up going somewhere else initially and then coming over later. So it was just like a weird 30-minute lag. Would have been more convenient if I had something that I could have been discussing with them about the time change. Definitely what's worse is with the GPS. I went on a trip about 3 hours away from where we're living in the Pacific Northwest, and I did not have a phone on me while I had the baby with me, and we did not travel with my husband, and so that gave him quite a bit of anxiety and the people I was meeting. Everyone was kind of freaking out when we were en route and traveling, but I had handwritten my directions and pretty much made it to where I needed to go until the very end, and then I had to stop and ask a few people for where to go, and everyone was really friendly and helpful, and I never needed to call anyone. I do think a con as well is the fact that I'm not with a phone right now. I think a lot of people feel when I say that I'm in a way saying I'm better than them because I don't have to have a phone. By no means am I. I'm just trying to see what this would be like. But I think a lot of people feel like I'm extending my values onto them and doing a weird like power play. But I'm not. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I think for a lot of people that enjoy taking photos on their phone, this would seem pretty detrimental to them. I'm not a big person that takes photos on my phone. I have a digital camera and also a film camera, so I prefer to take photos on those. So the photo aspect really hasn't bothered me much, which I think would be a con for most people, but not myself. Full disclosure, I had been planning to get rid of my phone and swap it for a dumb phone for a year. I was going to do this big experiment, and then I went and found out that to switch to a dumb phone with your phone number costs about $400 to $500 depending on what network you're on, and that seemed ridiculous to me. And I just couldn't justify that for basically paying the same amount that you would pay with a smartphone for data and such, but you don't get any of it. It just seemed ridiculous to me. So I decided to not do that, or at least since we were moving, I would probably need a GPS to navigate and get around places. So I scrapped that idea for the time being. A month ago, I was listening to a podcast and I had my phone in my sweatshirt while I was sweeping. Mid-sweep, I hit my phone, it sailed across the room, and the screen removed itself from the phone. I didn't mean to go without a phone, but I think it was fate's way of saying I should just do the experiment anyway and go without a phone altogether. Screw the dumb phone. I am happy it happened. Do I plan to get a phone in the future? Maybe. I'll keep you posted. Will it be a smartphone? I don't know. Possibly. If I did, I would definitely use it differently than I have in the past. But I just don't know yet. Right now, I'm fine with not having one and seeing how this plays out. Thank you guys for hanging in there and being patient with my very fussy assistant. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.